Well, it's here. It is 2025. Well, it's kind of shocking to finally be in the year of 2025 because at this point we've kind of already went through so much at this point. Like 2024 is now over. It's kind of a shocker, but now we're here, 2025. And today it is not a what if video, but it is a fantasy booking video. And today we're going to be doing a fantasy booking of the John Cena retirement tour. Because at this point, he's retiring. He's confirmed it. Money in the Bank 2024. He confirmed that this is his final year in the WWE. So might as well do my own little fantasy booking on the ending of John Cena. How do I book this entire ending of John Cena's career? Well, you clicked on the video, so you know how I'm gonna book it. So let's buckle up and let's actually talk about it, shall we? Okay, so we gotta find a way to start off this story. Now, obviously, we're starting off with the first Raw on Netflix, or the first Raw of 2025. The Raw on Netflix, the whole hype up, because Cena's going to be on that Raw. So, we're going to talk about that episode of Raw, and that's the Cena, and that's going to be the start of the Cena retirement tour. He's obviously going to make some appearances on Raw, and he's going to make some appearances on SmackDown. Do I have an opponent in mind? I don't know. We could probably book him against some kind of heel, like, I don't know. Or let's say a random heel, like, I don't know, a Cross, like Karrion Kross or someone like that can do that. Cena could beat someone there, obviously, to start off the retirement tour strong. And this is where I'm just going to be honest, I'm not going to book any of the matches on Raw or SmackDown. They're not really important to this storyline, and I'm only going to address the main stuff, and that's the pay-per-view matches. So I'm going to Royal Rumble first. And John Cena is entering in the Royal Rumble. This kick off the retirement tour. And guess what? John Cena wins the Rumble. I'm not going to do a fantasy booking of the Royal Rumble, by the way. I don't plan to do that. I know I did one last year, but I had time, and I don't really have much time here. And I picked to do a retirement tour John Cena fantasy booking, which I think would be a better video idea for which is a better fantasy booking than doing that, I may add, but that's just my opinion. But John Cena wins the Royal Rumble. And if you're wondering, The Rock and Cody Rhodes will be fighting at Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens and Cody will say settled their score somewhere else. We'll say they settled their score at a different time. I don't know when exactly. You can kind of make up your own decision on where you would book their storyline to end. But yeah, Kevin Owens loses Cody, gets buried, unfortunately, probably. I don't know. I wouldn't bury him if I had my way. I wouldn't bury Kevin Owens for this because he's actually making this feud good. Or you can just make it so that Owens can reinvent the Wing Eagle title and make it an extra SmackDown mid-card title, like add an additional title, I guess, to SmackDown where it's Kevin Owens, like his own hardcore title thing. I don't know. That's all I gotta say there. But I guess for one thing is that The Rock and Cody will be fighting here on Royal Rumble in this timeline. I know Rock's probably not going to show up, but he is showing up in this timeline. This is fantasy booking, so I get a pass. But if you want, I can do a fantasy booking timeline where Rock's not here, if you're interested. And in this, Rock and Cody have their match, and it ends with Roman Reigns spearing The Rock and costing him the match. This obviously gives Cody Rhodes the win, and Cody Rhodes can retain his belt, defeating The Rock once and for all. And then for WrestleMania 41, one of the main event nights could be Rock versus Roman, tribal combat or something like that. I know people want to see Cody versus Rock for WrestleMania, and while it would be cool, Rock's probably going to be retiring 2025, and I don't really think Rock would want to wrestle 2 more years. I think Rock's final year is 2025 as well. You could have him retire, and I guess if he wanted to, he can do 2026 for a final match. I don't think there would be much of a reason to do it, though, but that's just my opinion. And if you're wondering, Cody Rhodes will be fighting John Cena in this timeline. And this would basically mean that John Cena will be going against Cody Rhodes on the other main event of WrestleMania. This is probably night 1, and then The Rock and Roman could be night 2, ending the Bloodline story. And this is where I would book the Bloodline storyline to end. And this would be the final time we ever see the Bloodline together. The Bloodline, they're done after this. And John Cena is going to retain the WWE Champion. He's going to be the new champion. And I know people probably are going to be a little angry that I'm giving Cena a 17-time world title here. But I think this is like the perfect chance. And besides, I would rather Cody just drop the belt now, because at this point, I don't want him to see him hold the belt for over a year, or at least past WrestleMania 41. Unless they were turning him heel, I really don't want him to do it. But if you're wondering where I'm putting John Cena, I'm putting him on SmackDown. I know people want to see him on Raw, but I'm putting him on SmackDown for this. And John Cena will not be the only guy on SmackDown, but some other guys who will be traded off. It will include CM Punk. I'm trading off Seth Rollins, and I'm going to keep Randy Orton on SmackDown. I will also be splitting up the bloodline when it comes to who's on SmackDown and Raw. I'm putting Roman on Raw, and I'm going to probably be putting the Usos on SmackDown as well. I'm going to put the Usos on SmackDown and Sami on Raw. And I'm going to put Solo on Raw, and I'm going to put the Tongas on SmackDown, and I'm going to put Fatu on SmackDown as well. So I'm splitting the bloodline up. They're done for good, and they can go their separate ways, and they can do their own things. The Usos and the Tongas can do their thing in the tag division. Fatu can be somewhere in the mid-card division, tearing things up on Raw. Same with Solo. He can tear up, I guess, the mid-card division, maybe even get in the main event position one day. Sami's probably doing his own Sami Zayn stuff on Raw. And then Roman Reigns is obviously probably going to show up time from time, do some big matches here and there. That's probably what I'm going to do. But on the first episode of SmackDown after Mania, Cena's going to do an open challenge for the world title, which Cena will be doing these kind of to show the whole U.S. title open challenge thing he did back in 2015. And the first opponent will be Trick Williams, the big main roster call-up. Williams is also probably going to be called up to the main roster around this time, and I'm going to say this is like the perfect time to bring him up. And then Trick Williams will be here and will be into a storyline with John Cena for his first match. This will also include some other random matches, and this will be where I would insert most of John Cena's next-gen opponents. So guys like Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller, they're going to be fighting John Cena, but on SmackDown, because they're not really the big stuff. The John Cena feuds, like the past John Cena rivals, are going to be the big pay-per-view matches. Those are going to be the big money matches that I'm using for money. There isn't really a reason to put any of these people here. But the John Cena retirement tour is going to start off, and I'm going to just be talking about the pay-per-views. So Cena's first opponent will be at Backlash, probably some country in Backlash. Let's say Backlash, I don't know, Backlash, we'll say it's Backlash Spain, sure. And he'll fight Logan Paul, which I actually think could be a cool match, because, I mean, there's a lot of hype for it, and I feel like if any time was the perfect time to do it, I think this would be the perfect time now. I mean, I know this is a little hypocritical for me to say that, but, like, is Logan Paul really going to compete on an episode of Raw or SmackDown? No, he probably is not. So, this is the best time to finally do the Logan Paul vs. John Cena match that's been hyped up for a while. So we're doing it here, and I'm booking John Cena to win. He's retaining the belt. His next opponent will be at Crown Jewel, would be AJ Styles, which I actually think would be a really cool match. AJ Styles would be a heel here, and this would be a great way to kind of run back to the whole Cena versus AJ stuff, you know, like they did back in 2016. I think this would be a good time to actually kind of bring back that old nostalgic feud, as I actually think this would be fun to see. Granted, their matchups aren't as good as they used to be, but hey, I think this would be a good excuse to kind of give back another Cena versus AJ match. In my opinion, John Cena will win this match, but this is a good way to kind of give us a Cena-AJ thing again. The next John Cena opponent will be Seth Rollins, which I think makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because they did have somewhat of a history together, you know, Rollins breaking Cena's nose. But around this time, Seth Rollins would finally turn heel. He's going to finally turn heel, because this would be during his whole storyline with Punk. I'm going to say they probably have a long feud. It probably ends at, like, Backlash or maybe Crown Jewel. I say Backlash probably, because I doubt Punk's going to be working a Saudi show. But I think Rollins will be heel around this time. It will be a John Cena feud. And I think Seth Rollins is not going to win the belt here. Mainly due to the fact that I really don't see Cena losing this belt so early. And with all the guys I've been naming at this point, Logan Paul, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, they're obviously opponents for Cena for, like, his title defense for, like, pay-per-views. But, like, do they make sense to be the one to beat him for the belt? For me, nah, I don't think they do. That's just my opinion. And then the next opponent, and this would actually be where we actually start off an actual feud here. John Cena's first opponent is one of Cena's greatest foes on Money in the Bank, CM Punk. And I don't know if they're doing this, but for Money in the Bank, I would book it to be in Chicago for an obvious callback. Because at this point, they're repeating 14 years ago. It's basically history repeating itself. 14 years later, Cena versus Punk at Money in the Bank in Chicago. It's John Cena's retirement match. His demeaned retirement tour. This obviously is a good place to actually do this. I know it's a little fan servicey, but like, it would be cool because like you get to run that storyline back at least one more time. A Cena and Punk storyline would be cool. And on a side note, I would definitely like for CM Punk to redo that whole thing he did with the pipe bomb. Like Punk knocks Cena out, or like during a match Cena has against someone, CM Punk costs Cena the match. Cena loses, obviously a non-title match. Maybe the guy cheats to win. Or like maybe it's like a disqualification win or something like that. I don't know. Or like disqualification loss. Like the guy low blows him, like let's say a heel or something. Then CM Punk sits on the stage, does the pipe bomb, and then, you know, it's all that whole thing. This would actually make a lot of sense for me, and I personally would prefer that. And if you're wondering, John Cena will win this match. He's able to undo what happened. He's able to redeem himself from Money in the Bank 2011 and beat CM Punk. But CM Punk does not take kindly to this, and he will injure John Cena. He knocks out John Cena, and Cena has to get stretchered out. Like, that, the visual of that alone would be a big deal in my opinion. And I'm including that in there to kind of make Punk more of a heel. After it's over, have CM Punk go to the press conference and have him go on this whole shoot interview style thing, you know, like how he did in like the AEW press scrum in 2022, and make it like a mix of the 2011 pipe bomb. Like make it like a mix between the pipe bomb and a mix with the brawl out thing. If you want, you can make a fake report of CM Punk getting into a fist fight with like Trick Williams or like a babyface guy, because like this younger babyface guy who idolized John Cena sees this, they get angry, and then they get into a fist fight with him. I don't know. It would actually be kind of cool. SummerSlam would be their ending point. This would be the big match, the big final match between Cena and Punk. And this is actually going to be the first time Cena has a back-to-back pay-per-view match. And if you're wondering, John Cena will defeat CM Punk. I know it might be a bummer to some people, but I actually think CM Punk really does not benefit winning the belt here. And I think he can take an L to John Cena. CM Punk would probably go on his own arc, by the way. And I could see CM Punk get his own redemption arc. And since he wasn't able to main event WrestleMania 41, we can build up some kind of storyline for CM Punk where he can earn his own WrestleMania main event. Because honestly, at this point, you're looking at like WrestleMania 41 and all the build-ups and all the stories here. There's really no reason for CM Punk to main event Mania 41. Or at least Rollins and Punk to main event 41. Because I know Punk and Rollins will be a WrestleMania match for sure. So, in my opinion, I'm just going to say that Punk and Cena will be saved for a different time. Up next is Bad Blood, where I would book John Cena to go against Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is still a heel at this point. He's still running Rampage on the company. And I think this would be a good time to actually give us a Punk versus Owens storyline. Or I would book John Cena to beat Kevin Owens. Cena retains his belt, but it's like a brutal match. Like maybe make it like a no holds bar or something to give Cena like this big kind of fight feel to it. And this definitely would make a lot of sense for a good storyline here. And I actually would like to see that. But I honestly think John Cena is winning to retain the belt. Up next is a Saudi pay-per-view. I just put the Saudi flag here because I didn't have a pay-per-view in mind. So give me your Saudi pay-per-view. I'm thinking of Blood Moolah or Bloody Moolah or something like that. Bloody Moolah. Okay, we'll get to the show. Bloody Moolah includes John Cena versus Randy Orton, and this has obviously got to happen, you know. And this is the final John Cena feud in this storyline, or this video. And I think John Cena is going to retain the belt against Orton here. Obviously, Orton gets angry, beats up Cena. This would be an Orton heel turn, in my opinion. After this is Survivor Series, War Games, and John Cena will be having his match with Randy Orton, and this is going to be a big match, and it's going to end with Randy Orton winning. Orton does it. He's become a 15-time world champion. It's a big deal for Orton. He's done it. He's accomplished it all until all of a sudden the Money in the Bank comes in. And if you're wondering who the Money in the Bank is, I'm booking Dirty Dominic Mysterio to come in, cash in, and have the help of Judgment Day and beat Randy Orton. And if you're wondering how Judgment Day is going to be in this timeline, I'm going to assume Liv drops the belt to Rhea at WrestleMania, and that ends their feud. I would have all the Judgment Day members except for Carlito go to SmackDown, because I really don't see why Carlito fits the Judgment Day. Finn would be kicked out of the Judgment Day eventually during SmackDown, somewhere on SmackDown. A Dirty Dom versus Balor feud for like SummerSlam would be cool, where Dom would win, or Dom would probably turn heel by winning the Money in the Bank and kicking Finn out of the Judgment Day. They're both in the Money in the Bank match. Dom would beat Finn, and it would be like a briefcase match. Like if Finn wins, he gets the briefcase, and if Dom wins, he keeps his briefcase, and then Dom would win the match. Maybe it could be like a ladder match, I don't know. But I would have that happen, and Dom would cash in and beat Randy Orton to become the champion. Orton becomes a 15-time world champion, and I would book a storyline where there's like a big tournament to be Dom's next opponent for the next upcoming pay-per-view, where Orton would lose the first round to John Cena. Like obviously on an episode of SmackDown, there's a tournament. Cena and Orton is the first round. There's like a tournament of like 16 people. Orton loses the tournament, like the first round to John Cena, and later on, when Cena's in like the semifinals or final round, bam, RKO. Orton screws Cena out of it, and someone's able to take a win and beat Cena. And this means Cena cannot go into a pay-per-view in his last pay-per-view or last month in the company before he retires. He can't go into that pay-per-view trying to get the belt, because now Cena has lost the tournament because of Orton. So on the final pay-per-view, Ruthless Aggression, Randy Orton would fight John Cena, and this will be the retirement match of John Cena. This honestly feels like the best retirement match for John Cena to be in. I don't think there's much else he can do. And this would be where I book John Cena to fight Randy Orton, where John Cena would lose to Randy Orton and would retire. Cena would officially lose, would go on and just retire to Randy Orton. He would probably make some kind of big retirement speech on the following SmackDown or Raw, who knows. Cena could maybe do some kind of retirement speech tour where he gives a speech on Raw, then gives a speech on NXT, then a speech on SmackDown, and then that's where it ends for John Cena. And we obviously get his Hall of Fame induction at WrestleMania 42, which would probably be somewhere in the UK. Orton would probably be the one who inducts John Cena, and obviously it's all a good ending. John Cena retires, he goes on and makes his Hollywood movies, you know, he does his old usual spiel. And that's honestly it for the What If. Not What If, but fantasy booking. Haven't done one in a while, I know, but here it is. Kill my voice for talking a long time, sorry. Yeah. Okay, that's the video. The main reason I wanted to do this retirement tour fantasy booking was because, well, John Cena was my first real hero in wrestling. Or my first wrestling hero, that is. Like, before these wrestlers like Daniel Bryan, it was John Cena. I always liked John Cena as a kid, and even to this day, even though that I'm now 19 years old, gonna be turning 20 really soon. Actually, I actually really like John Cena. I grew up, I was a fan of John Cena. It still gets to me that he's retiring now. It makes me feel even older now. So I've watched wrestling for so long, and now that John Cena is finally calling it a day and he's actually retiring, it's just, yeah, it really does hit like home. It just hits a different feeling for me. But that's really all I gotta say for this video. This was a big wrestling fantasy booking video for me. I do plan to do more wrestling videos eventually. I have a What If wrestling video. I have a few What If related videos. The next What If video is going to be, or at least next wrestling What If video will be What If Dean Ambrose never left WWE. I don't plan for that to be my next heavily edited video. I'm still going to try to work on that heavily edited video. I'm going to probably make some more smaller video What If stuff, you know. I have some other ones in mind. I have a few other JoJo Danganronpa What Ifs I can make. But I have one other video that I want to make before the Dean Ambrose video. or like another big video I want to make before I get to the Ambrose one. And it's gonna hit home for me, and it's a very personal one for me. But after that video is done, then I'm gonna move on, and my next big video will be the Dean Ambrose What If. And then after that, I do plan to do What If Randy Orton broke the Undertaker streak, and I plan for November, or at least the ending November, to be, or at least around the November 16th or somewhere in November, to do a tribute What If. The 20th anniversary of it, it is What If Eddie Didn't Die, and that's my plan for November. Hopefully I can get to that video, and that's like the only real wrestling stuff I plan to do for the entirety of 2025. It's going to be this video, which is already done. Then I'm working on What If Ambrose Didn't Leave WWE. I'm working on What If Randy Orton defeated the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 21. And then I'm going to do What If Eddie Guerrero Didn't Die. I might do one more wrestling What If. I might. If I do have one, it's going to probably be a short What If. I don't really have any plans to do any long I don't have a plan to do a longer one. Maybe it'd probably be something that has to do with like the late 2010s or something. I don't know. But here it is. Here is the What If. I hope everyone's enjoyed this one. Peace out, and I hope you guys were able to have fun and enjoy this What If video.